up for our first final in lane 1, Mackenzie James. Lane 2, Anastasia Besnasuk. Lane 3, Isabella Arellano. Lane 4, Emery Smith. Lane 6, Claudia Alfahora. Lane 7, Cassie Fuller. Lane 8, Milana Nazarenko. Lane 9, Evie Long. Lane 10, Heidi Fram. And your number 1 seed from Fast Falcons in lane 5, Lindy Jarrell. Event 43, girls 11-12, 200 meter IM, A final. Next up, we have the B final. In lane 1, Adalou. Lane 2, Adele Mathia. Lane 3, Lexi Batone. Lane 4, Amrin Reynolds. Lane 5, Anna Schuchard. Lane 6, Addie Muller. Lane 7, Samantha Gardner. Lane 8, Evelyn Harris. Lane 9, Maya Powell. Lane 10, Gracie Brown. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 2:42.35 in lane 5 from Fast Falcons, Lindy Jarrell. B final. The next event will be the boys 11-12 200-meter IM. Getting ready behind the blocks for the A final. In lane 1, Gabriel Feldman. Lane 2, Caleb Milak. Lane 3, Virgil von der Heide. Lane 4, Tahar Awid. Lane 6, Ryan Lynn. Lane 7, Brennan McCown. Lane 8, Wesley Hamer. Lane 9, Christian Beauchamp. Lane 10, Ivan Loganov. And in lane 5, your number 1 seed from Treasure Coast Aquatics, Augustine Cuneo. Event 44, boys 11-12 200-meter IM, A final. Up next for the B final, in lane 2, Adrian Barangalov, lane 3, Victor Chizu, lane 4, Carter Zimmerman, lane 5, Landon Beauregard, lane 6, Liam Gianella, lane 7, Christian Hoyne, lane 8, Max Ruiz, and lane 9, Colin Hanna. and hitting the wall in first place in a time of 2:33.59. From Cheshire Coast Aquatics in lane 5, Augustine Cuneo. B final. The next event in the water will be the girls 13-14 200 metre IM. Getting ready for the A final. In lane 1, Amelia Buklowski. Lane 2, Ainsley Palmer. Lane 3, Leah Hamer. Lane 4, Angelina Parajan. Lane 6, Shelby Malandruco. Lane 7, Ryan Udagawa. Lane 8, Skylar Batten. Lane 9, Lane Langenbrunner. Lane 10, Gabrielle Beauchamp. And in lane 5, your number 1 seed from Fast Lane Aquatics is Sarah Fiamma. Event 45, girls 13-14 200 metre IM, A final. The next heat will be the B final. In lane 1, Emily G. Lane 2, Moira Keenan. Lane 3, Isabella Claro. Lane 4, Camden Smith. Lane 5, Hannah McGork. Lane 6, Chantal Yildiz. Lane 7, Avery Young. Lane 8, Avalaya Van Hall. Lane 9, Helen Dye. Lane 10, June Fram. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 2:27.22 from Fast Lane Aquatics, Sarah Fiamma. B final. The next event in the water will be the boys 13, 14-year-old 200-meter IM. Lining up for your A final. In lane 1, Anton Barangelov. Lane 2, Preston Hatcher. Lane 3, Christian Lituski. Lane 4, Jacob Lee. Lane 6, Andrew McCann. Lane 7, Evelio Claro. Lane 8, Broderick Cuneo. Lane 9, Cameron Stanley. Lane 10, Lucas Gianella. And in lane 5, your first seed from Empire Swimming, Toby Chen. Can whoever owns the 2 children who are using the stands as a jungle gym, please get them to sit down and behave, please. Event 46, boys 13-14, 200 meter IM, A final. Lining up for the B final. In lane 1, Cal Berkeley. Lane 2, Toivo Heppel. Lane 3, Zach Atir. Lane 4, Wyatt Samesi. Lane 5, Tyler Hanna. Lane 6, Christopher Keown. Lane 7, Tim Wilders. Lane 8, Tyler Dans. Lane 9, Zach Aschenbrenner. And lane 10, Luke Wheeler. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 2:15.06 from PYP in lane 6 is Andrew McCann. B final. The next event we have is the girls 200 meter IM. Getting ready for the A final in lane 1, Kate Roger. Lane 2, Fiamma Chioffi. Lane 3, Erica Opdyke. Lane 4, Reagan Burton. Lane 6, Evie Milak. Lane 7, Lara Braganza. Lane 8, Peyton Burton. Lane 9, Grace Panner. Lane 10, Lily Ruth Scott. And in lane 5 from Gator Swim Club, your number 1 seed, Eva Whitehead. Event 47, girls 200 meter IM, A final. Up next, lining up for the B final, in lane 1, Emma Casey. Lane 2, Morgan Gibson. Lane 3, Mackenzie Cabello. Lane 4, Denise Paul. Lane 5, Ella Chen. Lane 6, Olivia Perez. Lane 7, Maisie Mobley. Lane 8, Marina Marchman. Lane 9, Addison Quant. And lane 10, Isla Harris. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 2:25.06 in lane 5 from Gator Swim Club, Eva Whitehead. B final. Next event in the water will be the boys 200 meter IM. And your swimmers in the A final. In lane 1, Padraig Donnelly. Lane 2, Alexander Ham. Lane 3, Augustus Friedel. Lane 4, Aidan Levine. Lane 6, Ian Disasway. Lane 7, Whoopi Kupski. Lane 8, Hayden Schwartz. Lane 9, Trey Davis. Lane 10, Daniel Benzner-Suik. And your number 1 seed in lane 5 from Empire Swimming, Nikita Ambotas. Event 48, boys 200 meter IM, A final. Next in the water will be the B final. In lane 1, Noah Cowan. Lane 2, Chase Gluck. Lane 3, Isaac Rick. Lane 4, Zealand Bloch. Lane 5, Carter Corbett. Lane 6, Jacob Payne. Lane 7, Joshua Königsberg. Lane 8, Sydney Rakitic Melhasso. Lane 9, Brendan Natlow. And lane 10, AJ Mugno. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 2:08.84 from Empire Swimming in lane 5, Nikita Ambatas. B final. The next event will be the 50-meter freestyle, starting with the girls 11, 12-year-olds. All starts for the 50s will be from the diving board and scoreboard end. Lining up for your A final. In lane 1, Isabella Arellano. Lane 2, Elora Tripp. Lane 3, Maya Frijouf. Lane 4, Emery Smith. Lane 6, Claudia Alfaora. Lane 7, Cassie Fuller. Lane 8, Camilla Poriadina. Lane 9, Daisy Day. Lane 10, Milana Nazarenko. And your number 1 seed from Tidal Wave Swimming, Chaya Hughes Turner. Event 49, girls 11-12, 50-meter freestyle, A final. Next up is the B final. In lane 1, Sophia Christ. Lane 2, Jenny Simmons. Lane 3, Madison Theodosu. Lane 4, Grace McDonald. Lane 5, Evie Long. Lane 6, Abigail Tsari. Lane 7, Ivana Diaz. Lane 8, Samantha Gardner. Lane 9, Kira Beresher. Lane 10, Mackenzie James. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 30.18 from Tidal Wave Swimming is Chaya Hughes Turner. B final. Next up will be the boys 11 and 12, 53. And in the A final, in lane 1, Christian Hoyne. Lane 2, Christian Beauchamp. Lane 3, Taha Awad. Lane 4, Augustine Cuneo. Lane 6, Wesley Hamer. Lane 7, Charles Wolfe. Lane 8, Baptiste Albert. Lane 9, Landon Beauregard. Lane 10, Carter Zimmerman. And in lane 5, from Fast Lane Aquatics, is your number 1 seed, Brennan McCown. Event 50, boys 11-12, 50-meter freestyle, A final. Next up is the B final. In lane 1, Youssef Nagy. Lane 2, Matthias Rodriguez. Lane 3, Gabriel Feldman. Lane 4, Victor Chizu. Lane 5, Carter Hoyne. Lane 6, Connor Cummins. Lane 7, Liam Gamsky-Hust. Lane 8, Liam Gianella. Lane 9, Colton Walsh. And lane 10, Max Ruiz. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 28.67 from Fast Lane Aquatics, Brennan McCown. B final. Next up is the turn of the 13 and 14-year-olds, starting with the girls. The A final in lane 1, Avalaya Van Hall. Lane 2, Sarah Fiamma. Lane 3, Angelina Parajon. Lane 4, Juliana Alvarez. Lane 6, Shelby Malandrucco. Lane 7, Sienna Udzinski. Lane 8, Amelia Baklowski. Lane 9, Ainsley Palmer. Lane 10, Shelby Smith. And your number 1 seed from Empire Swimming, Fiona Blaho in lane 5. Event 51, girls 13-14, 50-meter freestyle, A final. Next up, lining up for the B final, in lane 1, Ember McAteer, lane 2, Karma Soud, lane 3, Ava Whitley, lane 4, Anika Traktueva, lane 5, Avery Young, lane 6, Sophia Chabina, lane 7, Ella Russell, lane 8, Karina McSorley, lane 9, Lauren Maziski, and lane 10, Amanda Collison. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 27:21 from Empire Swimming, Fiona Blaho. B final. Next in the water is the 13-14 boys. And in the A final, in lane 1, Blake Beer, lane 2, Julian Sosa, lane 3, Philip Tanis, lane 4, Tony Tang, lane 6, Ho Chin Yu, lane 7, Anton Barangalov, lane 8, Ri Chun Wei, lane 9, Christian Latuski, lane 10, Josh Silvera, and your number 1 seed from Florida Elite Swimming, Jeremy Morgan in lane 5. Event 52, boys 13-14, 50-meter freestyle, A final. Lining up for the B final in lane 1, Riley Liu, lane 2, Kaysen Sweet, lane 3, Trent Ward, lane 4, Ryan McCann, lane 5, Tim Yordes, lane 6, Matthew Van Metra, lane 7, Broderick Cuneo, lane 8, Benjamin Kyong, lane 9, Cameron Stanley, lane 10, Trent Barisano. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 25:12 in lane 5 is Jeremy Morgan. B final. Next up is the girls 50-meter free, and in the A final in lane 1, Denise Paul, lane 2, Annabelle Braun, lane 3, Lara Braganza, lane 4, Peyton Brooks, lane 6, Lily Ruth Scott, lane 7, Hayley McArdle, lane 8, Kate Masters, lane 9, Hannah Barkin, lane 10, Leah Opdyke, and your number 1 seed from Empire Swimming, Lola Frey in lane 5. Event 53, girls 50-meter freestyle, A final. Next up is the B final. In lane 1, Ansley Edelman. Lane 2, Maya Kalavig. Lane 3, Anika Davis. Lane 4, Catherine Bazade. Lane 5, Heidi Chen. Lane 6, Emma Dodge. Lane 7, Marina Marchman. Lane 8, Lauren Simon. Lane 9, Ivy Fostrovich. Lane 10, Elisa Bethke. And hitting the wall in the first place in a time of 27:20 from Empire Swimming, Lola Frey. B final. Next is the boys 50-metre freestyle, and in your A final in lane 1, Parker Stever, lane 2, Yuchun Wee, lane 3, John Shushard, lane 4, Aaron Kateraba, lane 6, Trey Davis, lane 7, Sabian Branch, lane 8, Edress Johnson, lane 9, Ethan Kim, lane 10, Ethan Hoyne, and your number 1 seed from Empire Swimming, Nikita Ambatas. Event 54, the boys 50-metre freestyle, A final. Next up is the B final in lane 1, Seth Hyde, lane 2, Wooby Kupski, lane 3, Padraig Donnelly, lane 4, Julian Ithia, lane 5, Alden Davis, lane 6, Peter Theodoso, lane 7, Jaden Garcia, lane 8, Justin Scuderi, lane 9, Jackson Smud, and lane 10, Luca Fiammi. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 24:67 is Nikita Ambatas. B final. Next up, we move back to the flag end for starts for the 100-metre butterflies, starting with the girls 11 and 12. In A final, in lane 1, Amrin Reynolds, lane 2, Abigail Zari, lane 3, Kira Barisha, lane 4, Elora Tripp, lane 6, Emery Smith, lane 7, Jenny Simmons, lane 8, Evelyn Harris, lane 9, Samantha Gardner, lane 10, Kendall Beauregard, and in lane 5, your number 1 seed from Fast Falcons, Isabella Arellano. Event 55, girls 11 and 12, 100-metre butterfly, A final. Next up will be the B final. In lane 2, Brooklyn Prince. Lane 3, Juno Was. Lane 4, Adele Mathia. Lane 5, Ada Lu. Lane 6, Addie Muller. Lane 7, Gracie Brown. Lane 8, Sophia Kreis. And lane 9, Olivia Fogel. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 1:16.46 from Fast Falcons is Isabella Arellano. B final. Next up will be the 11 and 12 boys, lining up for the A final in lane 1, Ivan Loganov. Lane 2, Caleb Milak. Lane 3, Christian Beauchamp. Lane 4, Ryan Lynn. Lane 6, Taha Awad. Lane 7, Brennan McCown. Lane 8, Charles Wolfe. Lane 9, Baptiste Albert. Lane 10, Gabriel Feldman. And in lane 5, your number 1 seed from Fast Falcons is Virgil von der Heide. Event 56, boys, 11-12, 100-meter butterfly, A final. Next up, we have the B final. In lane 1, Colin Hanna. Lane 2, Oliver Doty. Lane 3, Josef Nagy. Lane 4, Connor Cummings. Lane 5, Carter Zimmerman. Lane 6, Christian Hoyne. Lane 7, Sebastian Nock. Lane 8, Max Ruiz. Lane 9, Jet Ivanau. And lane 10, Enzo Rodriguez. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 1:09.85 in lane 7 from Fast Lane Aquatics is Brennan McCown. B final. Next in the water will be the 13 and 14-year-old girls. And lining up for the A final in lane 1, Olivia Breeden. Lane 2, Sarah Fiamma. Lane 3, Angelina Parajon. Lane 4, Ava Whitley. Lane 6, Gabriella Beauchamp. Lane 7, Ryan Udegawa. Lane 8, Lane Langenbrunner. Lane 9, Leah Hamer. Lane 10, Hannah McGaw. And the number 1 seed from Empire Swimming in lane 5 is Fiona Blaho. Event 57, girls 13-14, 100-meter butterfly, A final. Next up will be the B final. In lane 1, Avery Young. Lane 2, Sienna Udzinski. Lane 3, Karma Sood. Lane 4, Olivia Brooks. Lane 5, Avelia Van Hall. Lane 6, Juliana Alvarez. Lane 7, Sophia Chubina. Lane 8, Skylar Batten. Lane 9, Chantal Yildiz. And lane 10, Camden Smith. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 1:06.75 from Empire Swimming is Fiona Blaho. B final. Next in the water will be the 13 and 14-year-old boys. And in the A final in lane 1, Riley Liu. Lane 2, Hao-Chin Yu. Lane 3, Avelio Claro. Lane 4, Andrew McCann. Lane 6, Toby Chen. Lane 7, Josh Silvera. Lane 8, Ryan McCann. Lane 9, Cameron Stanley. Lane 10, Joel Robinson. And your number 1 seed from Florida Elite is Jeremy Morgan. Event 58, boys 13-14, 100-meter butterfly, A final. Next up, we have the B final. In lane 1, Keola Kawai. Lane 2, Ronan Rowe. Lane 3, Trent Ward. Lane 4, Kaysen Sweet. Lane 5, Philip Tanis. Lane 6, Zakatir. Lane 7, Lucas Gianella. Lane 8, Matthew Van Metre. Lane 9, Benjamin Kurt. And lane 10, Tyler Hanna. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 1 minute .84 from PYP in lane 4, Andrew McCann. B final. Next up will be the girls' 100-meter butterfly. And in the A final, in lane 1, Elise Fortief. Lane 2, Reagan Burton. Lane 3, Hannah Parkin. Lane 4, Heidi Chen. Lane 6, Kate Roger. Lane 7, Grace Panner. Lane 8, Lola Frey. Lane 9, Layla Watson. Lane 10, Evie Milak. And your number 1 seed from Gator Swim Club in lane 5, Peyton Brooks. Girls, event 59, the girls 100-meter butterfly, A final. Next up, we have the B final. In lane 1, Catherine Bazade. Lane 2, Tess Miota. Lane 3, Ansley Edelman. Lane 4, Eva Whitehead. Lane 5, Olivia Perez. Lane 6, Peyton Burton. Lane 7, Milena Fix. Lane 8, Mary-Kate Kupski. Lane 9, Ivy Fitzrovich. And lane 10, Chloe Wood. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 1:02.49 in lane 5 from Gator Swim Club is Peyton Brooks. B final. Next event in the water will be the boys 100-meter butterfly. And your A final in lane 1, Julian Ithia. Lane 2, Hayden Schwartz. Lane 3, Alex Gonzalez. Lane 4, Xavier Washington. Lane 6, Augustus Friedel. Lane 7, Noah Walker. Lane 8, Ethan Kim. Lane 9, Kelly Franks. Lane 10, Yu Chun Wei. And your number 1 seed from Gator Swim Club. In lane 5, Alexander Han. Event 60, the boys 100-meter butterfly, A final. Next up is the B final. In lane 1, Zealand Plotch. Lane 2, Padraig Donnelly. Lane 3, Edris Johnson. Lane 4, Antonio Lewis. Lane 5, Daniel Benson Subic. Lane 6, Aaron Nakax. Lane 7, Declan Foy. Lane 8, Santiago Lara. Lane 9, Noah So. And lane 10, Peyton Balciero. And hitting the wall in first place in a time of 57.45 from Fast Falcons, Noah Walker, B final. Next event in the water will be the girls 11 and 12 400-meter freestyle. Heat 1 in lane 1, Maya Frisier. Lane 2, Heidi Frown. Lane 3, Grace McDonald. Lane 4, Claudia Alfahora. Lane 5, Lindy Jarrell. Lane 6, Daisy Day. Lane 7, Hannah Barnes. Lane 8, Chaya Hughes Turner. Lane 9, Cassie Fuller. And lane 10, Mackenzie James. Event 61, girls 11-12 400-meter freestyle, Heat 1. Next up in the water will be the boys 11 and 12 400 metre free. In heat 1, lining up in lane 1, Colton Walsh, lane 2, Landon Beauregard, lane 3, Liam Gianella, lane 4, Wesley Hamer, lane 5, Augustine Cunio, lane 6, Caleb Milak, lane 7, Ivan Loganov, lane 8, Ryan Lynn, and lane 9, Connor Cummins. Event 62, the boys 11 and 12, 400 metre freestyle, heat 1. Next up, we have the girls 13 and 14-year-old 400-meter freestyle. Lining up ready for heat 1. In lane 1, Isabella Claro. Lane 2, Moira Keenan. Lane 3, Gabriella Beauchamp. Lane 4, Leah Hamer. Lane 5, Ava Whitley. Lane 6, Ryan Utagawa. Lane 7, Lane Langerbrunner. Lane 8, Anika Traktueva. Lane 9, June Fram. Lane 10, Shelby Smith. And if anyone's interested, England have just scored and they are 1-0 up against Panama in the Football World Cup. Event 63, the girls 13-14, 400-meter freestyle, heat 1. Next up we have Heat 2. In lane 1, Sophie Barotto. Lane 2, Faith Wendell. Lane 3, 7 Raditic Mahalso. Lane 4, Karina McSorley. Lane 5, Lauren Mazeski. Lane 6, Ella Russell. Lane 7, Lera Valitova. Lane 8, Hannah McGawk. Lane 9, Harper Klein. Lane 10, Karina Hurtado Rios. Heat 2. The next event will be the boys 13 and 14-year-olds and their 400-meter freestyle. Lining up for heat 1, we have Preston Hatcher in lane 1. In lane 2, Lucas Gianella. In lane 3, Broderick Cuneo. In lane 4, Evelio Claro. In lane 5, Tony Tang. In lane 6, Toby Chen. In lane 7, Ruchin Wei. Lane 8, Benjamin Keong. Lane 9, Zach Aschenbrenner. And lane 10, Cal Berklew. Event 64, the boys 13-14 400-meter freestyle, heat 1. Next up, we're going to have Heat 2. And in Lane 2, we have Brighton Tola. Lane 3, Ronan Rowe. Lane 4, Blake Beer. Lane 5, Trent Barisano. Lane 6, Jacob Lee. Lane 7, Nathan Moore. Lane 8, Connor Benton. And Lane 9, Hao Chun Yu. Heat 2. Up next, we're going to have event 65, the girls 400 metre freestyle. Lining up for heat 1. In lane 1, Johanna Beauchamp. Lane 2, Alex Stevens. Lane 3, Mary-Kate Kupski. Lane 4, Zoe Weiss. Lane 5, Charlotte Stevens. Lane 6, Nicole Shanks. Lane 7, Erica Opdyke. Lane 8, Morgan Gibson. Lane 9, Cara Walters. And lane 10, Layla Watson. Event 65, girls 400 metre freestyle, heat 1. Next up, we have Heat 2. In lane 1, Annabelle Braun. Lane 2, Elise Brazil. Lane 3, Olivia Perez. Lane 4, Maya Kalavig. Lane 5, Lily Ruth Scott. Lane 6, Fiamma Chioffi. Lane 7, Juliette Brazil. Lane 8, Leah Rockdyke. Lane 9, Alejandra Ordonez. Lane 10, Tess Miota. Heat 2. The next event in the water will be the boys 400 metre freestyle. Lining up for Heat 1. In lane 1, Hayden Schwartz. Lane 2, Parker Stever. Lane 3, Alex Gonzalez. Lane 4, Gleb Bassoff. Lane 5, Seth Hyde. Lane 6, Julian Ithia. Lane 7, Avi Stahl. Lane 8, Adam Fishberg. Lane 9, Augustus Friedel. And lane 10, Declan Foy. Event 66, the boys 400-meter freestyle, heat 1. The next heat in the water will be heat 2. In lane 1, Zachary Foster. In lane 2, Leith Canales. Lane 3, William Sevilla. Lane 4, AJ Mugno. Lane 5, Carter Corbett. Lane 6, Chase Gluck. Lane 7, Joshua Königsberg. Lane 8, Noah Khan. Lane 9, Ethan Kim. Lane 10, Brendan Natlow. Heat 2. As this heat is our last heat for the day, must thank our officials and our volunteer timers. Thank you for stepping up and helping us get this meet done. I'd like to thank the swimmers for swimming hard, parents for driving, and coaches for looking after all these swimmers. And that brings the end to this evening's session. Thank you all again. Thanks again for the timers. Swimmers, for warm down, please use the outdoor pool. The indoor pool will be closed.